Welcome back to the subject Object-Oriented Analysis and Design. Today's topics are Test-Driven Development, Agile Methodology, Working of a Test-Driven Development, Process of Test-Driven Development, How to Perform Test-Driven Development Test, Test-Driven Development versus Traditional Testing. Coming to the test-driven development, it is related to the software testing. So before going to understand what exactly a test-driven development, we should know that what is a traditional testing. As we know the stages of software development life cycle models, the first stage of SDLC is an analysis, the second stage is a design, third stage is a coding, fourth stage is a testing, fifth stage is a deployment. So the testing take place in the last stage of software development lifecycle model. So coming to this test-driven development, this is one of the testing technique which is used. This method is used in software development where it is going to be focused in writing the test cases before going to write the code. So when we talk about the code in the SDLC, first one is an analysis, second one is a design, the third stage is a coding part. So this test-driven development is applied at the time of developing the code. So whenever the coding stage is start developing that, so each and every module is going to be tested. So that is the reason this can be applied at the time of code development. So this is a main motto of test-driven is to modify the code part where the software is going to be fail, long-time development softwares, and in case of redeveloping the legacy softwares. So generally this TDD is applied whenever there is a requirement of recycling the software, like redeveloping any failure software or enhancing and legacy software, or in case of any failure version. So in all these stages, this kind of TDD is going to be applied. So the designing and the development test cases for every small functionality of an application. So this can be applied for each and every application in the system. So also known as a test fast development. So the other name for test driven development is a test fast development. This approach uses short development cycles that repeat to ensure quality and correctness. So this is the purpose of using this is to ensure the quality and correctness. Coming to the agile methodology. So why we are going to apply the TDD in the agile model? Like as we know that there are so many types of SDLC models like waterfall model, scrum model, iterative model, incremental model, spiral model. So there are so many type of models are there. So why we are preferring this agile model to apply the test driven development? As we know that this agile methodology is one of the SDLC model based on iteratives and incremental developments. So in this model, the software is going to be developed based on the incremental and iterative developments where requirements and solutions evolves throughout the collaboration development between the self-organizing cross-functional teams. So this can be done among the functional teams as well as among the project. So collaboration between the this prompts the adaptive planning, evolutionary development and delivery, and a time box is going to be defined for each and every iteration. Within that time it is going to be complete, and once the module is completing the development, it is going to be tested by using the test driven development. Again it takes place of the second cycle, then it takes place the third cycle. This iteration is throughout the process once until the total product or the total software is going to be complete the development. Coming to the working of the test driven development. So how it is going to be work? This is written for the software, and especially it is going to be applied on test cases. So whenever the software is going to be done for different kinds of test cases, under that case, each and every test case is going to be tested by using the test driven development. So here if you see that, run all the test cases and make sure that the new test case is failed, because the TDD is applied for the softwares where there are failure, where there is an use of recycling the software, in case of legacy software, developing the legacy software. So in all these cases, the first stage we can see it is an failure product. So here also the first stage, make sure that the red color represents it's an failure. So first test for the failure, then it is going to be checked for the green, make the test case pass by any means. So whatever the problem we are taking, the failure case, make sure that it is going to be passed in the next stage. The next one is a refactor. So it is going to be recycle and it is going to remodify that. So changing the code to remove the duplicates and redundancies at the time of refactoring. So this cycle is continued throughout the completion of the software. So throughout the completion of the code. Now coming to this, repeat the above mentioned steps again and again, write the complete test case describing the functions. So whatever the test cases are written, it should be described and define the document. So to make the test cases, and developer must understand the features and requirements, use user stories and use cases at the time of reviews. So to perform this, every time the developer has to collect the information, reviews from the stakeholder or from the end user. Based on that information, they have to test, they have to go for the passing the test case, then again they have to refactor that. So this is going to be continued process. So process of test driven development. So what is the process? So it is in which the test cases are written before the code that validates through those cases. It depends on the repetition of the development cycles. So how it is totally depend upon the number of cycles that is going to be used in the development of software. So test driven development is a technique in which automated unit testings are used to drive and design and free decoupling of the dependencies. So this is helpful in coupling and decoupling of the code also. How to perform the test driven development? As we had seen the stages, the first one is add a test, run all the tests and see if any new test is failed, write some code, run test and refactor the code, repeat this process, continue until the total software is going to be completed. Coming to the next one, difference between the test driven development and traditional testing. So just now we had seen that the difference between a traditional testing and test driven development. So a traditional testing can be done at the end of the software development, whereas the test driven development is done at the time of code development. So whenever there is a need of converting the design into the code, for each and every design a separate code is going to be developed. So at that time each and every functionality is going to be tested by using the test driven development. So coming to the disadvantage of traditional testing, budget and time constraint, a large and scale of the projects, the larger and the scale of the projects and the more careful you need to conduct the testing, because in the traditional testing we are going to apply at the end. If it is a large project or it is a time taking project, there is a lot of time wasting and cost wasting. So coming to the advantages of TDD, helps achieving 100% coverage of each line of the code through testing, less chances of the bugs. It makes code easier to maintain and refactor. This kind of testing is easier to work in a team, as each member of the team can edit the code, and in case of the bugs, testings will immediately shown it for the team members. So this is the difference between a traditional testing and test driven development. Coming to the conclusion, the overall test-driven development has emerged as a victorious tools in the field of the software development. It helps developers to fix the issues and errors in their code by unit test at the time of designing the phases. Also, it plays a crucial roles in the development and process of the company. No matter whether it is an startup or an top MNCs companies, unless and until the company does not use TTD, it will always lag in the market of the software. Hope you understood the concept test driven development. Thank you.